Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
All right, here we go again. Hello, Bernard.
Hey, how you doing, Liz? How's everything going?
Doing good, man. Excited to be here again.
Yes, I am, definitely. It's going to be a great show today.
So we're going to ask, as usual, for those who are already jumping on. I see the numbers going up, so I see you're jumping on. We want you to share this link with someone who you think might need some financial coaching, some advice here. We want you to comment and let us know where you're watching from. And if you have any questions, obviously, throughout this next half hour or so, let us know what the questions are. Bernard is here to answer them while we're learning something brand new. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page on Facebook, the Army Empire.
Yes, absolutely. Liz, I have to say something. It's crazy. Last week, funniest thing happened towards the end of it. We had some technical difficulties.
We did.
Yes, it was crazy because what happened was I was like, oh my gosh, I hope it's not me. Then all of a sudden, the funniest thing happened because a lot of my family, my grandson was watching it, my dog, they had on the TV, right? So he's watching it. He's like, Papa. He's like getting on. So he's dying. He's like, you gotta call me. So yeah, he actually called me, but I didn't realize it was still on. I was talking to him on the phone towards the end of it. So you guys got to go back and watch. It's the funniest thing. So
yes, it was literally. I had a technical issue here on my end, which then you stayed on. I couldn't pull you out, and then I saw that, and I was gonna edit it and take it out, and I'm like, that's so cute. It was such a cute moment. Yes. I just left it there, and it's adorable. But the topic of last week was phenomenal, and I can't wait to find out. What are we talking about today, Bernard?
Awesome. Like one of the things that we talked about last week was protecting your assets. One of the first, protecting your assets, and one of the most important thing you want to protect is your income, because the most important asset we all have, like we talked about last week, is the ability to protect your income. That's the most important. We have our income, so we have to protect it. So one of the things we talk about is craziest thing, kind of segues into like this month is September is called Life Insurance Awareness Month, right? So it's a great. I think let's talk more about that, about life insurance, simple way to kind of see it from a different perspective. You know, I'm a kind of person, I like things very simple. I like simple. I like to explain. It has to make sense from a simple way. So the key is life insurance is sometimes it's a very actually simple topic, but it's been complicated by the industry out there. So our goal is to show to kind of simplify it so anyone can understand it and anyone kind of use it effectively.
Yeah. So listen, I already have my pen and paper in hand, and we're your students, and we're excited to learn a little bit about this. So we're talking about life insurance.
Yes, exactly. Sure. Life insurance. And when people hear life insurance, they get nervous. Right? Oh my gosh, but we're going to kind of really kind of demystify the different things about life insurance, right? See, people ask me all the time, one of the questions I've learned, what's the difference between life insurance agent and life insurance coach? And I always say the answer is everything. Why is that? Because what a life insurance agent, right? A life insurance agent might sell you a policy so that they can benefit and the insurance company can benefit, right? Versus a life insurance coach. Now, if you think about what does a coach do in real life, right? If you have a coach, a sports coach, their goal is to give you plays so you can win a game, right? So our life insurance, our coach will actually give you plays so you can win a financial game. They'll show you how to use life insurance in an effective way so that you and your family can benefit, not just the insurance company, right? And this is where we're going to come in and give you ways to use that, right? So let's talk, what is actually life? When people say, what's life insurance, right? What exactly, when people think about what are we talking when we talk about life insurance, right? Very, very simple. So if you look at the next slide, all right, what do you get when someone's getting a life insurance policy? What are they getting? Very, very simple. When you're getting a life insurance policy, what you're getting, you're buying a check for your family. That's what check. What am I actually getting? If I'm paying something what am I getting? You're buying a check for your family, right? Very simple life insurance. Life insurance, the way it works, let's say Robert or someone like that, right? What they're getting, you're telling life insurance company ABC, like, listen, this is who I am. My name is Robert. I'm in good health. This is my information. I'm this high, this way. This is where I work. And what I'm gonna do, everything I'm sharing with you is true, right? I don't have any medical issue. I haven't disclosed up front. And what happens? And I promise to pay premium every single month, right? Mm-hmm. And when I pay that premium every single month, right? When something happens to me, you're gonna give my family a check, right? And that's exactly what you're gonna give my family a check. So what you're buying is a check for your family. But here's what happened, Liz. While life insurance comes figure out a way to do, they come out with some complicated policies that are very difficult to understand, that have little bells and whistles all over the place. So a life insurance company figure out a way to say, listen, if I can get Robert to focus on the policy, he forgets about the check. If I can get him to focus on a policy, he forgets about the check. And how can that be possible? Let me share with you why. Whenever you ask someone, what kind of plan do you have? I realize that when I ask, well, what kind of plan do you have? They never give an amount. They always give, oh, my policy has this, and that. Well, what's the amount? Well, I'm not sure, but it has this, and that. So I realize insurance can figure out a way, agent figure out a way. Let's get someone to focus on what? The policy and not the check, right? Because here's the sad part. When something happens to, let's say, this person, right? When they pass away, God forbid they pass away, let me tell you one, I'm not going to bring them a policy, Liz. I'm going to bring them a check.
Yeah,
I'm not here's your policy. No, I'm going to give their family a check. Mm-hmm. What you're getting, you're buying a check. Just like when you sign up, you get a car. You're buying a car. You're not buying a contract. You're buying a car. When you get a house, you're buying a house. You're paying for a house, right? So that's one of the ways we want to kind of simplify. That's what life insurance is supposed to be used for, right? Now, let's take a look at different aspects. Well, how should we view life insurance? Very simple. I like to use word association, right? Just to kind of give a teaching moment. I like to say, for example, number one is what we pay them, right? Number one is what we pay the insurance company. And number two is what they pay us, our family. Now, the question I was asked someone, listen, while we pay the insurance company, should it be a big amount or a small amount? Everybody would say a small amount, right? Mm-hmm. Now, what they pay our family, should it be a big amount or small amount? It should be a big amount. Exactly. See, what kind of policy can I get, plan can I get that allows me to give the insurance company a small amount and get a bigger check, right? And the only plan that kind of offers that is we call term insurance. Term insurance allows you to give, how can I give the insurance a small amount and get a bigger check, right? And that's the way to use it in the right way, right? Well, boy said, Bernard, don't you represent the company? Yes, I do life insurance also, but I also want to educate families the right way to use life insurance, not the wrong way to use it. Okay. In other words. So now if you look at the next, people ask me all the time, well, what are the benefits? What are some of the benefits of life insurance? What is something that how can you tell you have a good plan? How can you tell? Very, very simple. There's kind of four major benefits. I know people use life in different ways to borrow money and things like this. It's not the best way to use it. See, there's four benefits that comes to life insurance, right? And what's the first benefit? When you're life insurance, the first benefit of life insurance, which most people are aware of, is for final expenses. For God forbid something happens to you, right? That you to pay for funeral expenses. When people think about life insurance, they only want to think about funeral. Yes, but that's not the only way to do it. Because here's the reason why. We're all gonna pass. There's two things that are definite in life, and we all gonna pass away. We just don't know when it's gonna happen, right? We all know a date of birth, but we never know a date of death. We
Yep.
don't know what's going to happen, right? So the key is you have to make sure you protect for that. And one of the things that most people have, they don't have enough protection. A lot of people, how can I say, they use GoFundMe. There's vehicles like GoFundMe out there people are using. It's a sad part that we see all the time. Also, people collecting GoFundMe. Think about what happens. You lost someone very close to you, and it's devastating on an emotional base. You lost someone. Now you have to find money, trying to collect money for fine. It kind of gives you like even like another sting to the pain you're already going through, right? So that's when life final expenses. Now, average funeral costs 10 to 15,000, depends, right? It's not cheap. Okay. People say, well, you can put me. No, it does. You can't put someone in a box, right? It's 10 to 15,000 average funeral cost. That's one aspect of it. And that's one benefit. Now, the second benefit of life insurance is something we call income replacement. What is that? That's something that's really not talked about. What does that actually mean? Let's say someone's making 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000, God forbid. See, that's why they bring the pay the bills for the family. See, God forbid something happens to someone, if they pass away, guess what happens? That income goes. That income stops. That's 50 to 100,000 that the person was getting is not coming into the household anymore.
That's right.
The family still has to live. They still have to pay a mortgage. They still have to pay the bills. Nothing stopped. Life doesn't stop, right? So what life insurance allows you and I to do, right, if we have the right amount, allows us to replace our income. So what it kind of allows us to have the same financial impact on our family, whether we are physically there or not. See, the challenge is we may not be physically there for our family, but the goal is to still be financially there for them.
And what a blessing that is to be able to say, I'm taking care of my family. My income is going to be replaced when I'm not here. This number 2 is a part that a lot of people do not think of. They only think about the casket and the funeral expenses, and that's it. We literally forget to think about, wait a minute, what about the income replacement? I still have to pay the light bill. I still need to pay the mortgage. So yeah, that's really good.
Exactly. And what happens, and I always like to picture, I want you to picture this. Something happens, let's say someone loses a loved one, they pass away. Now you're going through pain, your pain of losing that person, emotional pain. So there's 2 deaths that happen. When someone passes away, you have the physical where you lose the person, but there's also a financial death that happens. The money that was coming is also leaves also. And what happens is that's when reality kind of sets in. Like, oh my gosh, how are we going to live? Right? How are we going to take care of this? How are we going to take care of that? So that creates a big burden. So you want to use life to replace your income, right? That's something that's so important for us to have, right? To make sure we have the right amount to protect that. The third benefit is something called terminal illness benefit, right? Listen, a lot of challenges, and they actually done surveys where people, and even the younger people, are get diagnosed with cancer more and more early enough. Right. And what happens, people don't realize when someone, let's say, get diagnosed with cancer, there's a lot of challenges that happen sometimes, right? For example, a person may not be able to work, may not be able to go if it's something kind of serious, right? And what happens is, while life insurance allows you can actually people believe that you only can get when you pass away. No, you can use a lot of plans. You can use part of proceeds up front. You can use up to $40,000 to $70,000 of the proceeds up front. So if someone has 100,000, you can use up to 40,000, 70,000 up front. If someone had a situation where they need to have access to the money, right? We had people that was able to kind of put access to the money up front. They wanted to do alternative treatments, for example, that cost a lot of money. They're not covered to health insurance. I mean, those treatments cost 50,000, 100,000, 200,000. And how many people have that kind of money laying around? They don't. So it allows you to have that kind of access to the funds up front to be able to, if you were in that situation.
That's amazing.
Right? Exactly. And that's something so important. I've heard stories that where people were able to extend because they had access to that option, be able to extend their life, able to have certain treatments that they wouldn't have access to, right? And that's something that's so important. To have that option, I think, is so important to be able to have that. But there's a difference. Some plans have that, but people have to be very careful. There's something called defined benefits versus negotiable benefits.
Okay, say that again.
There's something called defined benefits versus negotiable benefits. You'll have some plans that have, they have critical, they have this and that, disability, all these different things. So what happens, a lot of people believe, oh man, I have all these bells and whistles in my plan, but it's not, because it's called negotiated benefits. What does that mean? That means the insurance company has to negotiate with you how much to give you, or whether to give it to you or not, or they'll take it away from one place or charge you more. So it's not defined versus something that's negotiated. That's actually in a contract. It tells you exactly what it is. Okay. So that's so important. Now let's talk about the fourth one, which people don't talk about, which is legacy. See, life insurance allows you to create a legacy, creating generational wealth for you, right? Allows you to transfer. Well, life insurance is the most cost-effective way to transfer wealth to your family. A lot of people don't realize that, right? It's just because think about it. The Bible in Proverbs 13:22 talked about a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, right? That means we are called to make sure our kids and our grandkids are in a better position. That's what we're called to do. Right. So we didn't say that's biblical, right? To call to do. And how do you do it? There's only two ways you can do that. Either you have to leave a lot of money for your family, some money for your kids and your grandkids. And also the second thing, you have to leave a business for them that can give them the income. There's only two ways to do that. So that's why it's such a cost-effective way to use. Because think about it. People say, well, I have real estate. I have this. And I want to picture this on Liz, right? Let's say if you can live the difference, let's say if you had a house worth $500,000 and you're gonna leave it for your beneficiary. A couple of things that's gonna happen. Number one is you have to pay a mortgage for the house, right? Every single month, right? Now the second thing that's gonna happen, okay, if you passed away, now that house is gonna pass on to your beneficiaries, right? Now what happens to your beneficiaries? They're gonna what? They won't have access to money right away. So most of the time they might say, you know what? Let's sell the house undervalued. So they might say we need access to the money. So they might sell the house. It might worth 500. They sell for 450 just to get a quick sale out of it, which we've seen happen time and time again. And on top of that, there's taxes, consequences that you're going to pay on what? Transfer for selling the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Versus if someone had $500,000 of life insurance, that's transferred to your beneficiary for most part within a couple weeks, tax free. Right? So it's a way for us, for you and I, to create generational wealth to pass on to our family, which is so important. So, and I always ask someone, listen, when they have a plan, I say, here's what I want you to do. I want you to grade your policy from A to D, right? So if your plan can cover has 4 of these benefits, you give it an A. If it has 3 out of 4, you give it a B. If it has 2 out of 4, you give it a C. And 1 out of 4, it gives you what? You give it a D, right? And I asked them step by step how to grade them. And let me share some with you, Liz. 95% of the time, they get Ds. It's enough.
Because they don't have all of these benefits.
Exactly. It's enough just to cover final expenses most of the time. It's not enough to replace your income, right? It doesn't have a terminal. If they have something, it's something that's negotiated, not defined, right? Mm-hmm. And the fourth thing is not enough to create to transfer a legacy for your family.
Yeah, absolutely not. Do you review policies with folks?
Absolutely, time and time again. I always say just review policy. Just take a look at it. Look from a different perspective sometimes, right? And I take an educational approach. And a lot of times, sometimes you come across someone, they might say, it's a good plan, keep it, right? And sometimes there's adjustments that needs to be made. And I always ask a very simple question. If you could possibly do better, would you want to? Mm-hmm. And people say yes. And one thing I always like to talk about, if you think about the technology always changes all the time. Would you agree? Technology always changes. Right. Like we don't have the same cell phones we have. Even in the medical field, it changes all the time. Yeah. So does in the financial field, always changing all the time. So a plan someone might have had 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago may not be the best option now.
So we should be reviewing these things.
Absolutely. Wow. Reviewing all these needs change over a period of time. Maybe here's what we found out. For most people, they are underprotected and over premiumed. That means they don't have enough protection and they're paying too much money for it. allowed.
Correct.
Absolutely. What's your
Ooh.
next step? Now, people ask me all the time, well, how much protection would somebody needs, right? What would be the way to find if someone's underprotected or not? And the very simple way is something we call DIME. If you look at the acronym DIME, very simple, how much protection somebody would need, right? D stands for, we don't have to talk about death, right? So we want to make sure that the person has at least 10, 15,000 aside for final expenses, right? We want to make sure that's set aside. The second one is I is income. Experts recommend you have 7 to 10 times your annual income and protection. If someone's making 50,000, you need to 50 times 7 is 350 to 500,000. That's kind of gauge you want to have, right? That's the second one. And M stands for mortgage. One of the things people have, you want to ask you, for example, if you have a mortgage, if you're a husband and wife or family has a mortgage, do you want to make sure if something happens to you, God forbid, the mortgage is taken care of?
Right.
Right. And here's what happens. The biggest trick that happens when people get in a house, the mortgage company tend to sell you something called mortgage insurance, which is not homeowners insurance, mortgage. And all mortgage insurance is the mortgage makes you get life insurance, but the mortgage company is the beneficiary.
What?
Yes. They make you get life insurance and the mortgage company is the beneficiary. So if something happens to you, guess what happens? The mortgage gets their money, gets paid. Versus if you have the amount of coverage within your own plan, you can decide whether to pay it off or how to pay it because you have a lot of flexibility for that, right? Which is so important. But that's the M. You want to, if someone has the mortgage balance, right? How much you want to have, right? And the E stands for education. Right? And education for you. Someone has young kids, for example, they want to go, they want to say, you know what? I want to make sure if something happens to me, God forbid, part of the proceeds want to pay for the kids' education. Right? So that's so important. So then it kind of gives you, and then you add it all up, right? And anybody can do it. And they'll tell you how much protection somebody needs. And for the most part, I can almost guarantee 95 to 99% of the time is not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. And the reason it's not enough, because most people are sold on, guess what? The plan, not the check.
Wow, that's wild.
And not the check. And here's one also, the very simple way I like to explain to people the right way to use life insurance also. And I always say, listen, when you give your premiums to the insurance company, let's say if you pay your $100 a month, $200 for insurance company, what do they actually do with that money? And people say, well, they invest. Yes. See, here's what insurance companies do. You give your premium every single month. Now, by law, they're required to take a portion of that for like their responsibility. So if they have to pay the policyholders if something passes away. So they have to take a portion of it to pay for what? For the insurance part of the responsibilities. And what do they do with the rest? They invest it and make money on the money you paid, right? Well, what do insurance companies do? They get pure insurance and they invest the difference. So why is it good for insurance companies to do that, but not for us to do that?
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Right? And so this is why we educate families. Make sure you get pure insurance and invest the difference. Right? Put your money exactly where insurance companies put the money, put your money in the same place also. Right? And if people start using that, just changing their mindset, it'll just make a huge difference. And you'll be able to use life insurance in an effective way. And it won't be such a taboo subject. And you'll be able to protect your family the right way and also win in the long run. Very simple. Very simple. And no one's gonna say this, right? This is the way you beat the insurance companies, right? And I'm teaching, this is the way you beat the insurance companies, is you get pure protection as much as you can comfortably get and never cancel.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? You will win. You will win. And here's the reason why. If some average person, let's say for 20, 30 years, let's say if they're 30 years old, they might paying let's use they're 40 or 50. They might paying $100 a month for 500,000, or $200 a month for $500,000 of coverage. Think of how much you're paying. You're paying $200 a month, right? That's the $2,400 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 years, you paid about maybe 50,000.
Mm-hmm.
So you're giving the insurance company 50,000 in premiums, but at any point in time, they will give your family, they're on the hook for 500,000.
Right.
So you win. You win the game. Why is that? Because you've only given insurance 40, 50,000, and they're gonna give your family 500,000 when something happens, or whatever that amount is. So that's how you win the game. What people do is they get a lot of coverage, right? And what the biggest mistake that people make, they cancel. Stop paying. Right? And I shouldn't be saying it, but let me say, life insurance can love when you cancel their policies. They don't get upset. They don't get upset when you cancel their policies. They love it.
You just give them free money.
They love it. They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, they love it. They don't want you. They don't want you to keep paying, because why? They're gonna have to give your family a big check. So that's how you win the game. And a lot of people say, I'm gonna stop paying. Yeah, but you're not getting upset with them. They're winning, right? But that's how you win the game. You get as much as you can. But if you follow that, you'll win the game. And we're gonna go over a lot as we go over the next couple of weeks. We're gonna go over a lot of different things. We're gonna go over, let's say people have life insurance to their job. What should they do with it? If someone's young, someone's old, the different options. We're gonna go over a lot of strategies that you can use over the next couple of weeks to be able to take advantage, kind of educate on a higher level also. And
yeah, you're giving us lots of bits and pieces and bite-sized information that we're just that's blowing us away. I mean, to be honest, just in these 4 episodes, there's so many good nuggets that we're able to run with and really consider and think, okay, wait a minute. Do I know what's in my policy? What are the major benefits of life insurance? What's the difference between a life insurance agent and a life insurance coach? Like, there's just so much. If you're enjoying this, put some money emojis at the bottom so we know that you're catching what he's throwing down, right? It's so good. It's great stuff that we're getting here.
Yes, and we're gonna talk a lot about estate planning next week. We're gonna cover a lot of different things like protect your asset, protect wills, how do wills, trust, different things like that work. And we're probably gonna have confirming a close friend attorney. She's gonna cover some great stuff. The right way to use it, the right way to set, and a lot of misconceptions that people don't realize that they have, and people actually making some huge mistakes when it comes to estate planning also. So that's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be awesome. They're gonna get so much
hand in hand. Those things go hand in hand.
Absolutely, exactly. Because we're talking about protecting your asset. We're gonna talk about protecting your income, and at the same time, make sure you protect what you've built. Right? You have to play like I love the concept of offense. We talk about offense and defense. If you think about, for example, there's 2 things that can devastate a family financially. If you die too soon, that can hurt your family tremendously financially, right? And if you live too long, that can also hurt you too. The last thing you want to do is live too long and not have enough money. Okay, so we want to protect yourself if you die too soon, God forbid. And we want to make sure you put in a game plan to save and invest money. So if you live long enough, you don't have to worry about running out of money. So those are the strategies that we teach people how to use in an effective way. You know, we play offense and defense. Just like to win games, you got to play offense and defense. Defense is life insurance and protection is defense. It protects you. And offense is saving and invest your money where it grows really fast. It beats inflation. See, that's offense. So if you have a strategy where there's defense and offense, it works. If you only have defense, it's not going to work. If you have offense, it's not going to work either. But defense and offense put together, it's a great combination. It's a winning combination when it comes to your finances.
Ooh, this is so good. Man, you're a really good instructor, teacher, coach. You know, were able to understand. You saw all those money emojis coming in. The money comments were coming in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Big shout out to each and every one of you. We have Coastal Enterprise. We have Alistair watching. Dion. Yes, we have some folks here. My husband's even watching. Like we're learning. We're really learning. And that's the best thing. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait till next week and see what that next topic is going to be, talking about estates and things of that nature. Because like you said, they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Any last comments for our viewers?
Listen, thank you so much, Liz, for the work you do, and viewers, just get on for a ride and share that with people. Just share with anyone. Just share the link. Anyone that you feel that needs to learn, that feel like ask questions, just share the link. Share everything so we want people to get the right information out there. We don't want people to get hurt. Listen, when we talk about when it comes to your money, people say what you don't know doesn't hurt you. When it comes to your money, what you don't know will definitely hurt you. We want people to get educated, learn how money works, the right strategies in a very simple way so they can actually make the right choice for themselves.
Yeah, look, Coach B. Yeah. Coach B is in the house.
Robert, awesome. I love Robert. Great guy. Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Money Matters is right here. All subjects, all things that have to do with money and finances here on the Army Empire podcast. Thank you so much for watching. And Bernard, for all the amazing knowledge that you shared with us today.
Thanks so much.
Next week. Bye, guys.
You guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.